Guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today I am joined by Crafter and L. Brian on voice. We're going to talk 2.9 Xbow against every single popular meta deck right now. Brian, welcome to the channel, man. How you doing?
Hi Ash, thank you for having me in the channel.
No problem, dude. A little backstory here is unfortunately we recorded this with you and Crafter on voice. We couldn't get Crafter back on voice again, and my file got corrupted, so I am an awful YouTuber, but we're still going to feature his gameplay, and you really did a lot of, well, you have a lot of opinions on a lot of these matchups. I think my viewers are really going to enjoy your philosophy against all of these archetypes. So, are you ready, Brian?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, sounds good. How long you been playing Xbow?
Damn, well, first off, I'm a free-to-play player. I have roughly like 2 years or 1.5.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, we're glad to have you. And the first matchup's going to be against Hog Cycle. So, L. Brian, break it down for us, man. What do 2.9 players need to know going against Hog Cycle 2.6?
Okay, so against Hog Cycle, it's really important that you have to get it down, that you always have to have 4 elixir in hand as you pressure with Xbow. You should always pressure an opposite lane. You should never go same lane. The reason that you shouldn't go same lane is because they can do, for example, like easy pushes, like going Hog same lane as they already have damage and just keep on fireballing your like your tower with the Xbow, and then just getting a bunch of value that you just can't do it since you know, you're the one that's pressuring and they're just getting the value out of it. It's really important, again, that you always have the Tesla in hand and the 4 elixir for it, because as you like go with your Xbows and stuff, a really common defense, at least in the top ladder, is that I go Xbow, they go Ice Golem, and then they pressure with Hog. And as they pressure with Hog, like at opposite side, then I'm obligated to use my Tesla, and then it frees them up to use a cannon to defend your Xbow. And you can't let that happen, because even after all that, they already got a good elixir trade, because it's 9 for 10, and that's like really bad. Or they'll just use their muskie, which is still an equal trade, but their cycle is already like faster. I mean, like, sorry, not faster. Like, they already got back to a new hog, or maybe they're 2 cars away from it when you just use your Tesla. So it's like really bad. You always have to have them in hand. And a really important note is that you're always like going to be doing the same like offensive and then defensive sequence.
Yeah, I can see that.
Until you like kind of get it down to a point where you make your opponent think that you'll use your Tesla for the Hog. But instead of that, you should just go with the skeletons and get rid of that Hog, and you will receive a hit. But in exchange for a huge elixir lead, like it's not huge, it's 3, you know. But in that matchup, like in between those two, the 2.9 and 2.6 is huge, and you have to take a lot of value out of that. Like defend your Xbow as much as you can, and then when they take it down, that most likely they should take it down with spells. If you defend it well, then you have to keep on cycling and go aggressive at that point. And at that side, like that's how you should play it. And another thing is that if you can get predictions, then that's good game. Like, for example, getting a prediction, like they always go with a Ice Golem opposite side in the middle, and then you predict it with Fireball. Then that's like, if you defend the the Xbow, then that's pretty much a good game. They really can't do anything more than that. If they defend it, then most likely they won't have elixir. So it's either way good game. Although it's important that you do it in double elixir time, because if you do it in normal elixir time and you fail, then they just pressure you and you can't defend it, and that's GG.
I'm curious. Why do you set up? When do you set up these defensive Xbows versus the offensive Xbows on the opposite side?
Yeah. So. That's kind of dependent. Like, I normally don't actually do it. The only way I would do it if the tower like right here is like low, and I just want them to like kind of, instead of fireballing the Xbow, I want them to pressure, And if they do that, then I can just set up with a new Xbow, and then you have 2 Xbows. So that's just really good. First of all, never give value with your what's called like your Tesla and then your defensive Xbow and stuff, like what I did right there with the Tesla, that I put it high. And for example, when you want to predict like the ice golem, or you just want to get it out of the way, like with the log, it's not really worth it, since the log is slow. They'll just be able to react to it, and then they'll still defend the Xbow, and you just wasted 4 elixir. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, man. Well, hey, that's a really, really thorough rundown. This is why, guys, we have Brian on voice, man. You do a good job being very thorough with it. So, hey, let's go ahead and hop into Graveyard, okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we're against Graveyard now, and again, big shout out to Crafter. Really disappointed that he couldn't join us on voice as well, but suffice it to say, we're going to be alternating between his gameplay and Brian's, both at top ladder. So, Brian, break down Graveyard for us as a 2.9 player.
Okay, so first off, like Crafter's gameplay, as with mine, it's almost the same. It's just like specific little stuff that we do differently. So it's going to be the same. Basically, against Graveyard, you're going to be really aggressive. Like this is a normal meta Graveyard deck, and like what you should like normally face. And except for like Graveyard Freeze, you should always go same lane. But other than that, going back to the normal one, you should always go aggressive. It's really important to always keep your archers in hand. Really, really important. If you split them or something like that, you just open them like an opportunity for them to go with a Graveyard push. And you don't want that happening. After you like have defended a Graveyard and stuff like that, if it's like in the start of the game, you can definitely counter push with it, as I did right here, and I still got a lot of damage and stuff.
Dude, are you taking credit for Crafter's gameplay? I'm just joking. But hey, Crafter, I did notice that Crafter went same lane there. Is that because you just already had enough damage onto the tower?
Oh no, it was because literally like what I was saying, that he defended with his archers and they were alive.
Alive
and
still? Okay.
Since it's the start of the game, so he just counter pushed and saw if he could get the damage or not.
Okay, sounds good. So if you were a Crafter here, you would continue going same lane, or would you switch lanes?
No, I would definitely switch lane.
Okay.
Like the tower. It's really important to never go same lane of the like. Because you just keep on giving them poison value, and if you decide to go same lane, then the opponent will recognize it, right? And then they'll just keep on defending and getting poisons on you all the whole match. Okay. Now, like I normally just go opposite lane and stuff, because it's just normally not good against exactly this Graveyard deck, because they can if they play it perfectly, they can defend all the time, and they'll always get the poison value. Okay, so another note that's really important to note is that when you go with Xbow, and if they go with Tombstone, never use your log. First off, because your log is another crucial thing that you should have in your hand, because it's really good against the Graveyard, like if they counter push or whatever. And second of all, you just have to think about it like this: the Tombstone is doing absolutely nothing. It's just tanking damage right there. So you just need to focus really on the other troops that they're going to come down after. I don't know. They put the Tombstone and stuff. The only way that you're going to be using your log on the Tombstone is if you totally know that they don't have anything in hand, like to defend. I mean, like to defend, like to tank for the Xbow.
Yeah.
So right there, you should use it. Other than else, like a little heads up play is instead of playing your archers like like in the corner and stuff, like against the Graveyard, I always play it in front of my king tower, as like you can see right here. The reason why is because it takes them just a little bit longer to poison, so it gives you a little bit more time to defend. And reason why is because if they fail the poison, then they activate King Tower, and that's good game, like at once. Sure. So yeah, it's basically that's what you're going to be doing against Graveyard.
Yeah, very well played. And again, he uses those defensive offside Xbows there, obviously helping out against the Graveyard. Is that pretty much what you do when you have the tower down to spell cycle range?
Yeah, when it's down to spell cycle range, I always do opposite lane defensive Xbow and just cycle them. That's it.
All right, sounds good. Let's go into Golem Lightning. All right, against Golem Lightning, I don't know, man. There's not that many matchups that are much more difficult than Golem to a lot of Xbow users. So, you know, this seems like the hardest of hard counters. So walk us through, if you're going to have a shot at winning or even drawing a matchup like this, what are you going to have to do?
So, to be honest, Golem Lightning is really tricky, but you should always have down the same strategy as, you know, like against any Golem deck, which is if they place a 4 elixir troop in the back, always go Xbow opposite side. The reason why is because when you do that, they won't have enough elixir to use their Golem to tank for the Xbow. So it's really important to do that and never Xbow, never. Now, an intelligent Golem player, what they would do is not play at all until double elixir time. Now, how you should deal with this is pressuring them, like obligating them to use a troop or whatever, but only with your archers and ice golem. So I always go same lane with archers and stuff. First of all, to see if they have a big spell instead of lightning. If they do, if it's fireball or a poison, remember that that's 4 elixir, so you can instantly go. Like, you have to go at once at the opposite lane with Xbows, so that way you won't get like enough elixir to get to to place the golem in time. Let's talk about situations now. If you get the connection, you know, and they don't have the elixir, they're always they're going to have to defend that. If you know that they are going to go with Barbaro and Lightning, which is normally what they do, then, you know, obviously don't place anything. If they do, like, if you just react fast enough to like the Lumberjack or whatever, then you should pretty much overcommit on that, like on defense. I mean, like on offense, sorry. The reason why is that it's probably going to be like the only lock that you'll get in the whole game, for the reason that in double elixir time is way harder to get the lock, and especially to defend. Now, let's say that you get to double elixir time. What the opponent, what the golem player always does is go with a golem in the middle. They set up their push in the middle, so that way, you know, you won't get the connection with the Xbow. Even though that the golem is in the middle, you should always go opposite lane with your Xbow. And this is going to sound like wrong, but it's the truth, and is that you should almost never use your log to push it out of the way. Reason why is because they can actually defend it pretty easily. Like, if they have a lot of HP on their tower, they can take the damage and then defend it. And if you overcommit on that, like defending your Xbow, then the golem is still coming down, and you won't be able to defend that at all.
Yeah. So that was well played. That was a really good match there, man. That you illustrated it pretty well. Any final thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, like, in that one, he had Furnace and Mini Pekka and stuff, and it's, like, really hard to get through, but I mainly just maintain my focus, like, going with the Xbows as much as I could and stuff, and I just defended truly. It's really important to not choke. So, yeah. All
right, let's go to Bridge Spam. All right, Bridge Spam here, Crafter against Underestimated. Felt like you did a really good job breaking down a golem match. Let's go ahead and repeat for Bridge Spam, Brian. What are the fundamentals here? Are you going to be aggressive or passive in single elixir time?
Yeah, that's important. You should be passive in single elixir time. Like, maybe you can go with a Xbow on offense, but just try to not overcommit on it. If you overcommit, they can easily just, you know, spam you, and you won't be able to defend it. Like, they'll literally, if they're intelligent enough, they'll just keep on spamming you, and they will get at least a lot of damage. So yeah, it's really important to actually just go passive. I normally just let it go until double elixir time, because that's when you turn things around and you actually go like pretty aggressive. Against Bridge Spam, it's like, how can I say it? It's important that you always get really good elixir trades. Like, for example, defending the bandit with 1 elixir and that stuff. Like, those are trades that you need in order to go with to set up with a new Xbow push. But that in this way, not only that there's certain spam cards that they're important on defense that they're out of cycle. I don't know, like for example the Prince or the Bandit and stuff. So you can afford to overcommit to get the connection on it. If not, like if they get to the Expo, like let's say that the Musketeer gets the connection on the Expo, then you pretty much should almost always let it go unless that you know that they won't have much elixir, so you can react fast enough with a fireball and something like that. Another thing is that I'm not like, how can I say it? The only way that I'm aggressive in single elixir time is if I know that they already went with their push, right? And they won't like counter push afterwards, like if they defend my offensive expos. And now in double elixir time, what I like to do, that's the things that I say that it's like a little bit different with Crafter and me. What I like to do is going with defensive expos, but the reason why is that I go with defensive expos and in the positions where you should avoid fireball value in certain towers. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you go far side like we saw in the previous matches, defensive expos.
Yeah, but not like the side of the tower, but like in the middle right there that it still evades like the other tower, like depending on how you put it. The reason why is that I do that is because sometimes you can actually like, in that way you can actually bait them, and instead of using their fireball, you know, normally, then like to try to make them to use their Musketeer instead. And if you predict that, then you actually pretty much win the game, since you know you defended your Expo and now you're back to a new one, and now you just have like a lot to defend with. And after if they defend it, that they'll have to overcommit to do it because you have another Expo helping out. Then you just set up with another Expo, and basically you go really aggressive.
Yeah, and you're seeing the aggression right now. Crafter is like, he's been super aggressive here.
Yeah, no, and especially because, like I said, like he already went with his battle ram, and certain cards he still doesn't have it in hand. And for example, right there, he used the fireball on the ice golem, and the log and all that stuff. The reason why is that if you can kill the troops as fast as you can, you won't let them react like fast enough to get the troops down to, you know, to evade the lock on with your Expo. So yeah, after that, if you're going cycle, like if you have it to spell cycle, let's say that at 10,000, I mean like a 1,000 HP or something like that, or in tournament standard, which is normally like 500 or something like that, or 700, you should always go with logs instead of fireballs, because they can actually pressure you, like with like just spam you and totally like take you out if you choke. So it's better safe than sorry.
Dude, I gotta say, that was a really impressive match by Crafter too, man. That was crazy. All right,
yeah, it was really good.
Let's go to Lava Clone here. He had like, at one point he had like, I don't know, 4 Expos, one, boom, 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 whenever one was ended there. But Lava Clone is next. Be right back. So Lava Clone, how are you handling that? You go same lane Expo, obviously?
Yeah. Yeah, so first off, Lava Clone, it's a really skillful deck. You know, the first Lava Hound, the Lava Hound at the first play, it's always like a pro strategy from them. So it's really important against Lava Clone to always go same lane with your Expo, always. Now how can I explain it? Lava Clone is somewhat tricky because the flying machine, especially because the flying machine, you almost always have to fireball it no matter what, and the fireball is going to be like really crucial against all the like the clone spam and whatever.
Yeah,
so it's like kind of hard to get it down. But basically what you're going to be doing is waiting until they do their Lava Hound, or if they do it, like for example in this case that they do it like you just spammed it right there. Yeah. Just defend and stuff. Let's say that they do Lava Hound first play, the strategy, and then you just don't have your Expo in hand, which is unfortunate. So you cycle your archers and then your Tesla. Well, I normally cycle first my Tesla, but then the archers. Like either way is good. But the reason why is that after you do that, as you do that, like you have to cycle back to them, but at the same time that you defend everything. So put the skeletons and the ice spirit and stuff to distract the support troops, and then the ice golem, and then you're already back to new archers or Tesla or whatever.
Okay.
Before they spam. It's really good if you don't actually use your fireball. Like if you don't use your fireball and they clone everything, or if they let it go or something like that, you can actually go with the Xbow for the reason that they are obligated to go with, I mean, like to defend it because they don't have their lava hound in hand. So it's like an awkward situation. And if they use their their flying machine, which is like actually the best defense they have against Xbow, then you have your fireball in hand for that.
Okay, sounds good. What about Lava Loon? How does the strategy differ?
Yeah, so let me explain it thoroughly. Against Lava Loon, it's really important, like really important to go same lane, like almost always. Reason why, it's because of the balloon. If they go with a Lava Hound, as you go with an Xbow same lane, you totally obligate them to use their, to defend that before using their balloon. If they use their balloon, what it causes is that the balloon from behind will just come in front, and then the tower will start targeting it. And what I like to do against that, when they do it specifically that, so let's say that they go Lava Hound, I go with Xbow. When the Lava Hound gets there, they could use balloon. It comes across, and then when it comes across is that I use a separate Tesla at the side, and then a separate separately the archers and then the Tesla. That way they won't get fireball value from all those two. If you let them get the fireball value, then they'll just fireball it, zap, and you pretty much lose the tower and probably the game.
All right, so against Minor Loon Cycle decks, this is kind of interesting matchup. Who has matchup on this one?
The matchup is definitely for them. I mean, it's funny because the deck itself, it's like high skill. Problem is that against Xbow, you just consider it like low skill because they can actually just go with balloons and miners all the time, and they'll always get the chip damage, and you really can't build a good push and stuff. So going back to the actual matchup, basically what you're going to be doing is like the same placements as you see currently on screen. You're almost never going to let that happen again, like what happened right here, like the death damage of the balloon to get to the tower. That's like really bad. You should always catch the miners and stuff. It's really important that in double elixir time you do a trick that maybe people don't know, and it's that you activate King Tower with your Xbow and then your Tesla. How you do this, I don't know exactly. Maybe yeah, I do know it, right? But I don't know how to exactly explain it right here in a way that it can make sense. So we'll just wait until double elixir time. But while in normal elixir time, you're almost never going to go with an Xbow. Like you should always wait until you get that opportunity where they totally overcommitted. Like it's basically you're always going to do Xbows when you overcommit. Crafter's playstyle, it's as you can see right here, like he actually likes to go with his Xbows. I don't like it, but if you do so, then always go with either with a fireball as you saw right there, or a Tesla at the side, so that way it'll take down the balloon, and then you can cycle back to a new Xbow and you can use the surviving Tesla. You're mainly going to be using Xbows after you activate a King Tower. If you can't activate King Tower, then one good thing that I do, in my opinion, so that's right there the way how you the Xbow placement to activate King Tower. Now the thing is that there's a little play right there, and is that the Xbow that you see right there that's in front of the King Tower, you should put it just one tile on top. The reason why is because if you place it like that as you did right there, if there's an intelligent, a really good balloon cycle player, they'll go with a balloon at the far side and they won't place any tank. And what it does is that it forces you to use your Tesla closer, And so when the balloon gets to the Tesla and then destroys the Tesla, instead of going for the Xbow, it'll just go for the tower, and either you'll take the balloon hit or you'll take the death damage. So it's important to put it just one title higher. If the opponent is like intelligent enough, like to just keep on pressuring and stuff, even though that you activated King Tower, either I personally just go offensive Xbow, so to force them to use like the troops that they're meant to be on offense, like the Ice Golem and stuff, and basically against the matchup, you're always going to get a draw. Like there's almost no way you can actually get the connection, and for them, they're just trying their best to get the get the win. As you like just keep on defending. There's like a really important thing as well, and is that you should always maintain your Ice Spirit in hand if you're going like pressure with Xbow. Reason why is that they can change up their styles, like how to defend, and maybe they'll go with Inferno Tower, and that way you'll be able to reset the Inferno Tower and then go with a tank or like Skellies and whatever to reset everything and like get the connection or whatever.
And he gets the connection there, a huge one. That's gonna be GG.
Yeah. Normally one connection or two is just good enough. Let's say that and before everything finishes, let's say that you get it down to spell cycle range. It's really important that you should never fireball as you spell cycle, even though that you have it like at I don't know, like 3 fireballs and 2 logs or something like that, because you just won't have enough time before they get it all down. I mean, like when they pressure you. I mean, sorry.
Okay, so time to do Royal Giant. Ready?
Yep.
All right, Royal Giant. It feels like another really tough matchup. Walk us through this one, man.
Well, to be very honest, RG, if you play it perfectly, it's basically something that it should always be a draw, or you can actually win it, which is really incredible, because normally people wouldn't think that. But basically, as you would go through the game, always get as much value as you can with your fireballs. I mean, like fireballing the furnaces and stuff. You're almost never going to go with like defensive Xbows like for the furnace. I do use a defensive Xbow at the start of a game if I don't have my fireball for the furnace, if they place it in the middle and stuff. And that way, if they use their lightning, not only I already know that they have lightning, even though that normally they always have lightning, but just in case, they already use more elixir. Like you just use 6 elixir to take out the furnace, and they use the lightning, or I don't know, maybe the RG. So you're still like in the heads up, like with elixir. Basically, what you're going to be doing is let them pressure you. After they pressure you, like for example, like as of right now, as you can see, I instantly Xbow for the reason that I know that he just uses RG and he doesn't have good counters in hand, and I just have to be really reactive to them. Right here, he decides, I think, to lightning this. Yes, he does, and that's actually like pretty good for me, because now I'm in the elixir lead and I have like a little bit more control over the match. You're always going to get as much value as you can, like always in the same tower. If they get your tower down like a lot, and you have their tower down, I don't know, a lot, like 15,000 or something, I don't know, or maybe 1,000, then you should still go opposite lane, because it's just really easy for them to defend and then get the value as always. Like I almost always go like opposite lane. Now, there's a strategy that a lot of RG players, like good RG players, they do, and is that they go with RG in the back. And thing is that when you see the RG in the back, you should think like, oh, now I can pressure with Xbow opposite lane. But as you do that, either they take the damage and then they defend it, or they don't even need to take the damage and they actually defend it. And thing is that as they defend and they're still cycling a bit, they're already back to a new Royal Giant, and then they can just place it at the bridge, and I don't know, maybe they like 2 Royal Giants on you and something like that. And since your Tesla is already out-cycled incredibly because you used it for the first Royal Giant, so that's really important to know. there's a lot of situations when you do like defensive Xbows opposite lane, either they'll pressure you, they'll form a push in the back, or they'll go with a lightning, which is normally the best play for them to do, like the lightning on the Xbow. If they go with a lightning on the Xbow, sorry, try to cycle your Tesla on defense and just wait a little bit and just keep on repeating the cycle and just keep on getting log value, the fireball value, and just wait until they do that minimum error. And then as I said, like if they don't have the RG, always pressure, or like almost always you should be pressuring. And yeah, that's basically it against RG. I really can't explain it more thoroughly because it's somewhat still like tricky, but
yeah, well,
like just don't choke as well. If you choke, you
just don't choke. It's solid advice to end on there. Hey, we have one more matchup though. It's gonna be log bait time. You ready to do it?
Yep.
All right. So log bait, the last. How do you feel about this matchup, man?
Yeah, so against Logbait, I couldn't just repeat it more. If you play it like pretty normally, like how you should play it, you don't even have to play it perfectly. You should almost never lose against this. Like if you lose against this, then you have a problem.
So it's the easiest matchup as far as meta decks.
Okay. In my opinion, it's the easiest matchup. Like for example, the easiest matchup ever is the face control deck because it doesn't have a big spell.
Yep.
And like it's just like that. Like there's no way for them to draw the match. Like it's an instant win.
Okay. So what are you trying to do here? How do you play it correctly?
So going back to this, basically against normal log bait, the classical one, or with Valkyrie, you're not necessarily always going to be saving the log for the Golem barrels. And the reason why is because let's say that you go with an Expo, right? And they go with a Goblin Gang and then the Princess. Like you should log that for the reason that first of all you're going on offense, so they're still forced to defend before going offensive with their Golem barrels. So that means that they are forced to use something, to defend all that. And because it's still a lot of value. Like even if there's like a Princess and then the Valkyrie and then the Golem Gang is too much value to let it go. So even so as well, you can defend normally the Golem barrels with anything else, but let's go to the main strategy against it. And what I do personally is that I pressure a lot with Xbow and normal elixir time. But there's like some points where you just can't get through, so you just wait until double elixir time, and then I start my strategy, which is basically going with like Xbows in the middle. And the reason why I go with Xbows in the middle is because I want them to get into various situations. One, if they rocket, I just outcycle them by literally just cycling as fast as I can, and then get a new defensive Expo on the field. Reason why is because it makes them go like into like an uncomfortable push. Like they have to do like some awkward push or something to like kind of take down at least take down the Expo or get some damage on the Expo. So that way you can so that way it won't be like a true threat for them. If you have the Expo down, like if you still have it living, you can go definitely with a new Expo, even though that you just they have the rocket, since like the troops like Goblin Gang. Both the Expos will obliterate it, and then when they use that combo of Goblin Gang and Rocket, you will get the chip damage since the Goblin Gang will like disappear literally. Another situation is that if they ignore it, right, that's pretty much a good game as well, because you can just cycle back to a new Expo, and then you just keep on pressuring, and their cycle isn't as fast as yours, so you just take them down by pressuring. And another situation is that if they rocket the tower instead of your Expo, then that's good game depending on which way you do it. If your tower is somehow, I don't know how you could get it, your tower could be down, but if it's somehow like at 2 rockets and a log, or 2 rockets and 2 logs. And if you go with a defensive Xbow, they can actually go with a offensive Xbow. I mean, sorry, offensive rocket, and you basically lose because you just like they can just cycle back to it, and it won't give you enough time to pressure, since you already you basically wasted 6 elixir like for nothing.
Sure.
So yeah, it's really important to do it when you're all healthy and stuff.
Yep.
And another thing is eliminating the troops as fast as you can. As for, like, you can see right there, I just got everything down as fast as I could before you could place down the Golem Lightning, and I got the connection.
Yeah.
And another thing before ending, let's say that you're in a comfortable situation where there's a princess right there and you can't fireball it because it's just coming down like until like almost to the bridge. You can actually use the Xbow to just get the princess down. Reason why is because even if they rocket, you already got value from the Xbow, because you just took out 3 elixir. They used 6 to take down the Xbow, and you just use like 6, so they use 9 and you use 6, so now you're up 3 elixir. Get it?
Yeah, dude, I get it, man. Well, that's the very thorough explanation of all those matchups. I just want to thank you again, Brian, dude. You killed it on this video. Thank you for being. I didn't have to ask you any questions, man. I was just chilling here the whole time. It was awesome. But dude, I know that you have. I want to give a huge shout out to Crafter again for helping us out with this video, and I know you have some shout outs for you and Crafter. So go ahead and share those right now.
Yeah, so before anything, I want to do the shout out of Crafter because he couldn't participate, but basically he sent a shout out to Vanguard, to the Vanguard community. They're a great community and stuff. These are the words of Crafter, even though that they are a good community. So yeah, basically that. And for my shout out, I'd like to shout out my family clan, AK Syndicate, to my leader Messiah, and basically to all the people that have supported me until this moment. And there's another thing is that I have a Discord server which is called Xbros, and the thing is that we obviously just focus on Xbow and stuff. So if you want me personally to help you with Xbow matchups and stuff, then join the Discord server that will be in the in the description if you accept it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put that in there. And dude, we just want to thank you again. I think that any Xbow users in my audience would definitely be well served to check out that Discord server. So Brian, dude, thank you so much for coming on again, man. I appreciate it.
I thank you for having me.
No problem, man. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I should have mentioned there'll be timestamps at the beginning of this video because it's a long one, but I hope it would help a lot of players out there who are looking to up their game. Pleasure to have free-to-play pro L. Brian on, and of course, Crafter, the Expo ladder god himself. So check out their player stats and profile along with their social media information, their Twitter information as well, and that Discord server link. Everything will be in the show notes below along with their stats, thanks to statsroyale.com. And a huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information as well, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, take care, guys.